Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we'll be taking an advanced look through Steve Holland, The Torn Shirt Sessions by Michael Stradford. Now this is the brand new deluxe edition which is about to launch on Kickstarter later in January. So sit back, relax and let's get to it. Well, here we are, Steve Holland, The Torn Shirt Sessions, the deluxe edition by Michael Stradford. What a fantastic tome this is. It's really heavy. It's a real coffee table book, and you can see the size of it. I've actually got like a standard A format paperback there, and you can see it's absolutely huge. Really is. And this one is about to launch on Kickstarter later in January. And of course, it's a re-release of the original Torn Shirt Sessions, which was like a more standard trade paperback size. So Michael's done like a little intro on his Kickstarter page, which says former actor and Flash Gordon TV series star Steve Holland was the most in-demand male illustration art model for 3 decades. Books, magazines, advertisements, movie posters, you name it, from the late 50s through the early 90s. If you went in a drugstore or bookstore, more than likely you saw Steve Holland staring back at you from the shelves as either a pirate, a cowboy, a spy, a detective, and most notably as Doc Savage, the Man of Bronze. Now, Steve Holland, The Torn Shirt Sessions, the deluxe edition, presents the original photo sessions of Holland as Doc Savage, along with the available paintings and paperback covers painted by illustrators James Bama, Bob Larkin, and Joe DeVito in a large 9 by 12 inch format on heavy 157-gram paper stock. 200 pages of imagery that still resonates more than 50 years later. Well, I couldn't have summed it up better myself. What an absolute beast this one is. It's Gizmo Press. The cover was designed by Bill Cunningham of Pulp 2.0. You'll be familiar with his work if you watch the book reviews on this channel. And well, let's have a dive in. So, I mean, this really is fantastic. I can only just about get it in picture. It's that big. And look at that. There is the classic cover, the cover that started it all. Steve Holland as Doc Savage by James Bama for the cover of The Man of Bronze, 1964. They're probably, I mean, that ranks as one of the most iconic sort of paperbacks of the 1960s, that one. I mean, it really does. And this is just a beauty, an absolute beauty here. So I know you're going to love it. This is a great little introduction, this one. What a great suit there is. A custom-made Doc Savage outfit. Tahir Bahiti. And then, right, James Bama. Here we are. So that is the artist, James Bama. And there we are. So this is how the format of the book unfolds. So you've got the original artwork there and the book cover. And then you've got the reference photo next to it. Some of the other ones from that original session. Very cool. He was such a talent. Having done a bit of acting, and I've done some posed work for photographs, it's really difficult. I tell you, it is much harder than you might think. There is an absolute skill to it, and Steve Holland was the master. These are just so, well, you know, these early Doc Savage are so iconic themselves, aren't they? They really are. This is an absolute love letter to the subject, I think is the perhaps the best way to describe it. Some alternate shots here. The fantastic island. Yeah, I don't collect the Doc Savage books, but I'm very tempted to. You know, the more and more I look at this great cover art, they're just fantastic. And there he is, and he would often have like little props and things like that he'd be given for the photographs, and then the artist could use those. You know, so as well as his classic torn shirt, of course. Pirate of the Pacific there, so holding that little plank there, which has been made into the oar. The Secret in the Sky. Beautiful, just beautiful quality. These the first time that author Michael Stradford has used a Chinese printer, and the results are truly spectacular. This is not print on demand. This is something much, much different. It's a real high quality production. Fortress of Solitude. Really, really crisp images, and very, very nice to see. Look at that, the Green Eagle. Taken by James Bama on the roof of his Manhattan apartment building. And there's some more alternate shots of it. Really, really clever. Death in Silver. James Bama, once again taken in his apartment circa 1968. The Deadly Dwarf. The Other World. That's great, isn't it? You know, less close-up action there. Posing as the hooded villain for the cover of Dust of Death in James Bama's apartment. I suppose these radiators give it away where it is. Terror in the Navy. Mad Eyes. Resurrection Day. Got a little syringe in his hand there. The Red Snow. Dagger in the Sky. That's the original painting of Dagger in the Sky. How cool is that? Imagine only one of the originals. The Golden Ogre. Man Who Shook the Earth. Sea Magician. Yes, this is an example. So James Bama posed as the other men in the painting, flanking Steve Holland's Doc Savage. So the artist himself put himself in the background. He used himself as a reference. And sometimes Steve Holland himself is used multiple times on the same cover as different people, as the artist sort of builds up a bit of a montage of the jacket. Wow. Haunted Ocean. Vanisher. He could stop the world. That's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous book, this one. If you're a Doc Savage fan, I think this is an essential, isn't it? And if you like vintage paperbacks from the 1960s, seeing all these jackets just beautifully reproduced like that, it's a real treat. It says, throughout the book there are photos of Steve Holland holding a ray gun, as seen in the photo at left from the Green Death photo session. It appears he was using the Astro Ray flashlight target gun, produced in the 1960s. The gun has enjoyed a resurgence of popularity and can often be found online. How cool is that? There it is indeed, the Astro Ray gun. It looks sort of 50s, doesn't it? But it says produced in the 60s. I would imagine quite early 60s. That's Mesa. Outtakes. So Steve Holland and James Bama worked together so often that it rarely took them the entire booked hour to get all the required poses that were planned for a session. As a result, Bama and Holland created additional shots that could be used at a later date. Some of these photos were never used. Some were referred to decades later via the work of Joe DeVito. Here is a selection of the poses and photos. So these were ones that weren't actually used by Bama at the time, but potentially were used a little bit later. There he is with the gun. Bob Larkin, right. 19-year Bob Larkin's tryout picture for Bantam art director Len Leone in 1968. He got the job in 1976. There we are. How superb is that? Very, very nice. There's the Joe DeVito sessions. Guess these are all still the outtakes and stuff. Very, very cool indeed. Yeah, a very skilled person with Steve Holland. And the way the book presents these photos is second to none. The final session. The Frightened Fish is the last time Steve Holland portrayed Clark Savage Jr. He posed for Joe DeVito on November the 25th, 1991, and he was 66 years old. But still remarkably fit, yeah, absolutely. And these are the photos from the very last session. And there we are, look, the Frightened Fish. There we are. So another outtake from the stage. It's been put upside down because there's Doc Savage himself, maybe falling out of a plane or something like that. Secret of Satan's Spine. Ice Genius. There we are, Glare of the Gorgon. Well, what a fantastic, fantastic tome. And as I said, if you're a fan of Doc Savage and the work of Steve Holland, and just classic 60s and 70s and even 80s paperbacks in general, then you're going to really enjoy getting a lot out of this book. So, as I said, it's not for sale just yet. It will be towards the end of January. If you are interested, do head on to the Kickstarter page. I'll put a link to that down below so you can show your support and you could be notified as soon as it becomes available, because it's a really, really nice book indeed. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that flick through of Steve Holland, The Torn Shirt Sessions, the deluxe edition. What a beautiful book that is. And don't forget to head on over to the Kickstarter page to give it your full support. If you've enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage paperback and book content. And I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.